Hello readers, my name is Sierra and this is Sierra Reads and Writes. On this channel, I love to talk about reading, writing, and creating Black female characters who empower themselves beyond their circumstances. Alright, so I've seen a trend over on Book Talk, now that I'm actually part of Book Talk a little bit. I've seen it on Book Talk, I've seen it over here on BookTube, and everyone is doing their 10 before the end. So that's what this video is going to be all about. Actually, it's going to be 11 books instead of 10. Okay, so the first book on the list is The Elevator Pitch by Evelyn Lee. And so this one just follows Sella, who created a fuck it list, and she has all these goals on there of what she wants to do. But then she meets Grayson, who actually created a dating app that she actually uses and hasn't had any luck on. But he needs a believable date for a wedding, and so they run into each other in an elevator. I'm believing that they do a lot of the tasks on Sella's list, and somehow they end up falling for each other. So this is a book that I'm very interested in. I believe it came out about a few months ago, maybe 2-3 max months ago. I heard it was really good. I absolutely love me a Asian man, Black woman love story. I love me an interracial couple. So this is one of the books that I'm excited for. Next up on the list is actually a twofer, and that is The Dom and the Banker. So both of these books follow Stephen Brixton, they call him Brick, and April, and it kind of navigates how they kind of meet each other through work and BDSM and their sexual fantasies of each other, and him introducing her to a world that she never knew that she could see herself being part of. But, you know, obviously in both of the stories, people have their own secrets, their own lives, and so they kind of clash in that sense of what's going to happen next. Does it impact how they feel for each other and their ongoing relationship, possibly? So this book on the list is actually my add-on that I'm talking about, which makes my list from 10 to 11, and that is The Curvy Summer by Danielle Allen. And so this book follows our main character, Aaliyah, who has a one-night stand with an ex, but she realizes this is not it. I can't keep doing this. But she has to navigate life with her family as they keep telling her, like, you gotta find a man, your size is too big for a man, all that stupid stuff that families say when they can just be very rude about it. So she tries to tell them, like, my man loves who I am, and he loves me, he loves my body, he loves everything about me, but there is no man. So she ends up going on a blind date and trying to find this perfect boyfriend that she told her parents about, which is obviously a lie. In walks in Ahmad, is it Ahmad? Ahmad. And they have like a night out. Essentially, he, gets her a drink. They end up talking, and we'll just see where it goes from there. Clearly, it's a love story, so I am so excited to see what goes on between Aaliyah and Ahmad. I saw this book that was going to come out for 2024, and I was like, I'm going to read it, obviously. But I went to my library, and I saw that it was there. So I'm getting it from my library, read it, and I'm also going to purchase a copy so I can keep it on my Black romance bookshelf. The one I'm currently reading right now is The Blonde Dies First by Joelle Wellington. And this one follows Devin, who wants to give her sister the best last summer that she has before she goes to school. So Devin, her sister, and their friends, they end up hanging out, going out, but they end up getting into a Ouija board. And so they kind of release something that goes all around and killing people, obviously. And obviously the blonde dies first. So someone, a key character, is the first one to die, because it seems like the demonic presence is killing people in the stereotypical order of a horror movie. So Devin has to try to figure out how to save her and her friends, because ultimately she is the blonde. So it's a very much of a thriller. I love Joelle Wellington. I love their vicious games. So I'm so excited to see what this book has in store for me. So the next book, well, a lot of these books came from the Chicago Urban Book Expo that I went to. So a lot of these books are literally the books that I got from there that I'm trying to get through. for the end of the year, pretty much. So this book is actually Hooked on Your Love by Shamika Erby. And this one follows Natasha, who is a general manager at a hotel. She ends up going to, how do you pronounce it? Narragansett. That's what I'm just going to go with. She ends up going there to supervise the opening of one of the hotels that she's the manager of. But also she needs a vacation. So it's kind of like a twofer. But she ends up having issues with a contractor on site. And it kind of breeds like a, not even like a forbidden romance. I guess it's kind of forbidden because they kind of work together right now. Forbidden / work romance between the two. I love me a black romance, especially when it's just all black love, you know. So I'm so excited to see what this book has in store. It is a summer vibe book, so it's a little bit different for a cold month, but still. All right, these next books is actually a trilogy or trio novelette because they're all standalones, but they all fall within, I guess, like the same area. I hope that makes sense. But it's called, well, the whole trilogy is called Potomac Falls. And so the first one that I have is Something Blue by K.L. Hall. So this one follows Amani, who had a first kiss with the guy she had a crush on named Dallas, and it's been 10 years since that happened. They finally run into each other in their hometown, and they kind of like, you know, rekindle the flame because Dallas never forgot her. He never forgot the kiss, and clearly Amani is still hung up on him. And I'm so excited to see where this goes because I love me like a, not even like a second chance romance, because it's not a second chance. It's like a first chance blossoming into an actual romance, if that makes sense. The next one is Something Borrowed, and this one follows Janine, who is a widower, and she kind of has been dealing with some stuff in her life, but she ends up hooking up with a much younger guy, and it's a little bit like, oh my god, like this dude is so fine, he is so sexy, but he's a lot younger than me. It's just a weird situation overall, but Axel is like very much like, this woman is everything I want. I love her. This is just a one night stand. Automatically they're like, can't get enough of each other. Is there more to this? Where can it go? That type of thing. All right, so the last one is Something New that follows Issa, who is doing an interview with a really top chef who is known to be a little bit of an asshole, very rude, very stubborn, but as she has the interview with him, she's able to like peel back the layers. He starts to tell her more about himself, and they really like connect on a level that she hasn't connected with someone with in a while. And it really just navigates their connection and possibly like a blooming love story between them. So since this does happen like before her wedding, like I'm not sure if it's supposed to have like a cheating trope in it, or I don't know. So I'm curious because I'm not really a fan of the cheating trope. I did read one book with a cheating trope in it, and it was not it. Like I did not like those characters whatsoever. But I am so curious because I love me just a black romance, as I keep repeating myself, and just finding new authors to get into. So I'm very curious. Next up on the list is The Marriage Contract by Shay Davis, and this one follows Alexa, who is a plus size girl who is kind of like, I wouldn't say she's a goody two shoes, but if we're going by like trope, it's very much like a bad boy, good girl kind of trope. You know, she describes herself as boring, she's plus size, she's invisible, she's an accountant, so she doesn't really do anything all that exciting with her life and her career, but she ends up going on a trip to Vegas, and she runs into our bad boy, Soul, who pretty much treats her body like it's his. Not in a bad way, but like very much like loving her body, loving on her in a way that she hasn't felt before. So it's very much like just like a bad boy, good girl kind of trope romance. Obviously there's a marriage contract, so is there going to be more to this contract besides them just getting married, you know, on a whim, that type of thing? Is there actually love between them? Can they create an actual relationship? It kind of reminds me of, which one was it? I think it was Let Me Love You. I think it was Let Me Love You, by Alexandria House, where I think it was not Niles. I forget which brother, but he was very much in a he got married to another character who was staying in the U.S. because she wanted to stay in the U.S. Otherwise, she had to go back home. And so they actually start to develop like love for each other in an actual relationship. So I love that book. I love me some Alexandria House. So if this is like anything similar to that kind of vibe in Alexandria House stories, this is definitely going to be a win for me. Taking a massive turn from all the books that I have on the list, my last one is In the Garden of Spite by Camilla Bruce. And it actually is I guess like historical fiction. I'm not sure if it goes into like nonfiction per se, but it's about an actual person named Belle Gunness, who was a serial killer. So she pretty much is like, for a woman, you have to figure out how to make your own way. So as she connects with men, marries them, I think, she kills them. Yeah, so it's a complete difference from the other books that I'm going to be reading. But I'm excited, I'm intrigued, because I love me like a female rage story. So this, I know it's gonna be good. I already know it's gonna be really good. All right, so that's the end of this video. Hopefully that you all are having a really good end of the year. What books are on your list for your 10 before the end? And yeah, if you want to, you can drop those books in the comments below, or just drop in a book emoji for those who are reading any type of book for the end of the year. Until next time, bye.